Today we are going to discuss my reads for this year. And I have a million books stacked on my computer, so I'm going to move them. But I'll do that while I'm talking. So the first book that I read this year was 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, which is a story about this journalist guy who went off to try to investigate a strange sighting of a marine creature, which turned out to be the submarine of the Nautilus. And, well, there we go. And by a turn of events, he finds himself on the boat with a couple of his friends, and the rest of the book is him and his friends exploring and like their experience on that boat and trying to escape. So half the book is very interesting because of that, but the other half is not interesting because the author went too far in talking about the types of fish, how the boat works, and all that stuff. If you're not into engineering or marine biology, you will get bored. Other than that, it's a great book. And then the next book I read was The Hobbit! Yay! I read The Lord of the Rings like once a year, basically. And you guys probably know about The Hobbit, but it's about Bilbo Baggins, and he leaves with, let's see, how many? 13, I believe it's 13 dwarves on a journey to go to, let's see if it has the name of, to the Misty Mountains, and try to get their treasure back from the dragon Smog. So there's The Hobbit. Where should I put the books that I already covered? I'll put them here. And then I read, of course, I had to read the other ones. And so here's The Fellowship of the Ring, where Frodo and the Fellowship of the Ring, all the 9 people, part of that, they leave on their journey. So I think they leave like 2/3 of the way through. Yeah, there's the Council of Elrond. So all this before they leave here, and here's the rest. But I love this one. Then the next book, The Two Towers, where a lot of things happen. So they split up, and Frodo and Sam go to Mount Doom, or are on their way to Mount Doom, and then Aragorn and the others go to I'm sorry guys, I don't watch the movies, so I can't remember all the different names. Boromir's town, they go there, and a bunch of stuff happens. So that's like the in-between book, and then here is The Return of the King, where the ring is finally destroyed. There's the final battle. Some people get married. Some people die. Aragorn's crowned king, and Frodo leaves with Gandalf and some other people to go to the Grey Havens. So that is the end of Lord of the Rings, and I think I wrote it down somewhere, or I threw it away. I think I did. But the word count for that is like 500,000 words, so that's pretty good. I started out the year strong. And then after The Lord of the Rings, I switched gears entirely and read Heidi. It had been so long since I read that book. It is such a sweet book. It is about this little girl who is sent to live up in the mountains. I think the Swiss mountains. with her grandfather, and it's basically her life there and what happens and the different characters. It is a very sweet book, and I love it so much. It's like a little fireside read with a cup of hot cocoa or something sort of book. And then I read the Emily series by Montgomery, the same lady who wrote Anne of Green Gables. So the first one is about Emily. I love this front cover, so I'm going to show you. There we go. And so this series is about Emily, who is orphaned at the beginning of this book and goes to live with her aunts and her cousin at a place called New Moon. And in this book, she starts writing, like she realizes that she can write and stuff, and she's trying to get over her grief because her father died in the very beginning of the book. And it's basically her getting settled and what her life is like when she first moves there. I think after like the first year or something that she lives there. And then this one is next, Emily Climbs. And this is also a very sweet book. I love this one. It's probably my favorite one in the series. Let me see. She goes to college in this one. And she starts to write more, like gets paid for writing, that sort of thing. And she's trying to prove herself to her Aunt Elizabeth, who doesn't like it that she writes. And then the third book, Emily Climbs, and this one is where she is trying to get her first novel published, and she also has a romance going on. It's like very love triangle, and to be honest, this book is slightly depressing just because things go so wrong for so long, and it's so satisfying in the end. I'm not going to tell you how it ends. I want you to read this for yourself and figure it out and experience it yourself. Okay, next one. So all of those I just mentioned except for 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, I read all those before. But now here's a new one. Gotta pull it out from a huge pile here. Is Aunt Jane's Hero by Elizabeth Prentiss. So you might know Elizabeth Prentiss for her book Stepping Heavenward. But this book is about the main character, whose name is Horace Wheeler, and Aunt Jane is not his aunt, but someone that he looks up to, and she's trying to encourage him toward a more godly life and more godly lifestyle. And I really enjoyed it. It's more of a slow, light book. It's not epic or action-packed by any means. Like, there's the Civil War, but it doesn't really talk about that. I enjoyed it as like a break from all these crazy books that I had just read. This is a really good book for right after Lord of the Rings. So, and it's an old book. I enjoyed its prose too. Alright, what was next? The Old Man and the Sea. So I don't have that book. I actually read it. I listened to it on audiobook by this guy who was reading it out loud from like the 40s, I think. I found it on YouTube, and I actually really enjoyed that story. A lot of people say it's boring, but there was so much depth to it. Like, oh, what's the author's name? I always get him and Nathaniel Hawthorne's names mixed up. I don't know why. But yeah, it's gone. Most of the time I can't think of his name, so I should have written it down or something. But I really enjoyed it. It's about this fisherman guy who hadn't caught a fish in like 40 days or so, and he was said to have bad luck and not be able to fish anymore. And he decides to try to prove that wrong by going out and catching a fish. And so the fish in the book is like a marlin or something, like some big fish, like it was the size of his boat, basically. But it was described as being larger than normal. And I loved the descriptions and just the prose. It was very beautiful. I really enjoyed it. It's also a slow book because the entire thing is over just 3 days of doing nothing but trying to catch a fish. So you have been warned, but it is a good book. I love it. Then the next one is an oldie but a goodie, Ben-Hur. I love Ben-Hur so much. Let me see. It is about Judah Ben-Hur. It doesn't have anything on the back. Is there a blurb? Can I, like, read it to you guys? It doesn't look like there's a blurb. Nope, there's not. Weird. But I'll just see how well I remember it. So Ben-Hur, like I said, is about Judah Ben-Hur, who, out of some misunderstanding, he is accused of killing the governor, or attempting to kill him. And he is betrayed by his childhood best friend, and is sent to go work in the galleys for the rest of his life. And then there's a battle, and his ship is wrecked, and I think it was like a captain or something, who ended up adopting Ben-Hur because he really liked him. And I know this is starting to sound like the tropes and stuff that we hear nowadays, like the rich uncle who conveniently dies and gives the poor person money. But that wasn't a trope when this was written. It was written a long time ago. But the rest of that is Ben-Hur trying to... Let's see. It was first published in... Aha! 1873. So more than 100 years ago. And so the rest of the book is Ben-Hur trying to find his mother and his sister because they were separated when that whole incident happened. And this is like tied into the life of Christ too, which I really love. And it has the 3 wise men, it has one of the wise men's daughters, and it is a very complex, very emotional, and an amazing story. I highly recommend this if you haven't read it yet. That goes in that pile. Alright, what did I read next? Oh, yeah. Next book I read. So this is another reread for me. Most of these are rereads, but they're all really good. Next one is Ann Tatlock's A Room of My Own. And so this book is set during the Great Depression. And the main character, what's her name? Oh, it was like Jenny or something, like short for Virginia. And some of her family members have to move into her room, and so that's why it's called A Room of My Own, because she wants her own room back. And it tells about like the strikers and different things related to that. And town. You can see it at the back of the book too. Like there's where she and her family live, and then here is this shack town. They had a specific name for it. but I can't remember what it's called. It was like a no, it doesn't matter. If you read the book, you will know. So this book has like the way they go about talking about the theme and the characters and stuff is like so deep and stuff, and they never say anything out loud that tries to persuade you either way. And it's dealing with some very challenging moral and law related things, and I really enjoyed it because you could kind of see where the writer stands on this, but it's never explicit, which is really cool. But she lets the characters live it out, like their reactions, their dialogue kind of hints and stuff, the consequences to everything. It is very well written, and it's historical fiction, and I loved how the writer immersed me in the 1920s, 1930s-ish, and I felt like I was there. Like, a lot of historical novels struggle to get me into the world, but she just uses a ton of specific products that they use. Like in one scene, the main character and her friend were trying to come up with a jingle for an ad, and if their jingle was chosen, they would get like $100 or something like that, which is a lot, especially for the Great Depression. And it was for Palmolive shaving cream, and it was hilarious. And her best friend's mom was a flapper. And like the whole thing was just hysterical. So the author, that's another thing, the author balances humor and gravity very well, and I enjoyed it. It's a little thick, but it's honestly not that thick. Like, I read The Lord of the Rings, like nothing is thick compared to that. Except for maybe, I don't know, The Wheel of Time or the Harry Potter series. Okay. But the Lord of the Rings was originally written as one book, so. Alright. Room of my own. Haha. I actually really like the cover for this one. Gunner's Run. Oh, it's a very shiny one. You can see the computer there. Okay. This is Gunner's Run by Rick Berry. It is about a gunner an American gunner. If you don't know what that is, they control the guns in the fighting planes during World War II. He was fighting over Germany when he fell out of the plane. You'll have to read it to find out why. I don't want to spoil it too much for you. And so he's stuck in enemy territory, and he's trying to get out without getting captured, because that would be bad. And so I thought it was a really good book. It's thinner. Like, I enjoy a chunky book. Like this one. This is more my style. It's not too thick. This one is a little thin. It was a quick read for me. What? It is in, good grief. It is in first person past tense, and I felt like I really liked the style that this writer had. It was more like direct, something that you would think of when you think of a gunner or something. Someone recalling their story as this sort of character in this circumstance. So it was interesting. It wasn't like flowing and poetic like the Lord of the Rings or the Emily series, but I liked it. I tend to prefer classic styles and like stuff, so it was interesting for me. All right, what's next? Gone Away Lake. Oh, I love that book. So I rediscovered this book. I found it somewhere. Like this summer, I was like, we had this one book, where'd it go? And so I went on this huge hunt and we finally found it. So I read it in like one day, 1 or 2 days. Really tiny. 2 days is actually really fast for me just because I've been so busy and stuff. Uh-oh, my computer is on low battery. I need to hurry up. So, 2 kids find a town that disintegrated into nothing, basically, and there's still 2 old people that live there, and they have very fun, very relatable adventures, and they're 2 cousins. It is by Elizabeth Enright. Next book. Oh, I'm moving on to a new post-it note here. Next book was Little Women. I picked up this really beautiful copy at Walmart. Like they had this huge collection of faux leather bound, and like you can see here it's like engraved, and then the title is shiny. You can see it a little bit. Oops. Like that. I don't usually have my screen mirrored, so I'm finding it really difficult. I feel like a little kid, like, where do you see it? Where do I need to put it? But it's about 4 sisters and growing up during the Civil War. Love this book to death. If you've read this book before, please leave a comment and say which of the sisters, or if you're a guy, you can say which guy character, who you are like, because the more I read this, the older I get, the more I read this, the more I realize I'm Joe. Yeah, I'm definitely Joe. Alright, next book. I don't want to rush through this, but I left my cord downstairs. Oh, my brother's in the other room. Maybe I'll go. He's getting the cord. Yay! It's nice having a brother that will do anything for you, right? He just went like, sure, I'll do it. But he's still getting it. Now, let me see. Next book. This was also from Walmart. Anne of Green Gables. This is such a beautiful copy. Like, look at the inside. Like, oh, I'm doing it again. But there's like butterflies on the top, and like this part is blue. It's really pretty. I don't think I need to. Hi! It's not live or anything, it's fine. No. Hallelujah! Got the cord! But, yeah. Anne of Green Gables is about Anne Shirley. Plug in this computer before it dies. I thought I would have enough time, but the computer was having a hard time loading everything. There, all better. Anne Shirley, I don't need a rush anymore. Anne Shirley was an orphan, and she went to live with Marilla and Matthew Cuthbert, and each chapter is a hilarious yet heartwarming and heartfelt episode in her life at Green Gables. And I love this book so much. Especially since it's pretty. Like, how do you think I could resist this? Like, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. Next one. The Melendy Quartet. Like, I read it on the Kindle, so I don't have a physical version, unfortunately. But the Melendy Quartet is 4 books in a series about 4 siblings, and each book goes through something different. Like the first one is called The Saturdays, and it talks about them trying to make Saturdays more fun because the book starts off on a cold, windy. Speaking of cold, I'm cold. I'm putting on my blanket. A cold, rainy Saturday where they can't do anything, and they decide to go spend it with their allowance. So literally spend it one kid each week, and they get to do something fun. Then the next book, I believe, is The Four-Story Mistake, where they have to move to a different house. And this house is 3 stories with a tiny little story on top. And so that's why it's called The Four-Story Mistake. It was supposed to be 4 full stories, but it ended up being 3 and then a little thing on top. So it's their adventures there. What's the third book? I can't remember, but one of them is about, well, the other 2 are just more of their adventures, more of their growing ups and stuff. So I really enjoyed them. And they're set in the 1940s. And so this author also did a really good job of immersing me in the historical context. Just because she lived in the 1940s and it was actually published then, I believe. But I loved these books. So, moving on to another series. Narnia. This I've read it so many times that like the binding is breaking, and I have like all these pictures. So this one, what I love about it is that they have pictures on the inside and I color them with colored pencil. My siblings hate me for doing this just because they think it's sacrilege. It might be to some people, but I had so much fun doing these. But the Chronicles of Narnia, there are, just so that I don't make a fool of myself and get them all mixed up, there's The Magician's Nephew, where it talks about the creating of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, where the 4 Pevensey children go into Narnia and they get rid of the eternal winter. The Horse and Its Boy is about a Narnian boy, Shasta, who grew up in Kellerman, and he goes with 2 talking horses and the daughter of a Telemarine to Narnia. Well, actually to Archenland, more accurately. And then there's Prince Caspian, where the 4 Pevensey children go back to Narnia again, and they help Caspian on his throne because his uncle Miraz is ruling currently, and the Telemarines are not nice people. And so they have this huge battle, and there's Aslan's Howl, and a lot of exciting things. And then Voyage of the Dawn Treader is where Eustace Scrubb. There was once a boy named Eustace Scrubb, and he almost deserved it. That annoying, whiny kid who turned into a dragon, that one. He went with Lucian Emmond on the Dawn Treader with Caspian, actually. And they had all these adventures going to the end of the world, to Aslan's country. And that is honestly my favorite, like one of my favorite books. My favorite Narnia book is coming up soon. Then number 6, I believe this is sign language for number 6. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So number 6 is The Silver Chair, where Jill Pole and Eustace go and they're trying to find the lost prince, who is the son of Caspian. And they go with Puddleglum, who is a marshwiggle, and they go into not the Western Wild. What is it called? Darn. Darn it. Okay, yeah, they go into the wildlands of the north, which is Edensmore and Harfang, and they go under the ground, stuff like that. And then the last one, this one's my favorite, number 7. This is the last battle. So most of the book is told from Tyrion's perspective. Tyrion is the last king of Narnia, and it is the end of Narnia, and Eustace and Jill come back and try to help him, but like everything is going downhill and they can't do anything about it. It sounds depressing, but it's not, trust me. Silverchair is more depressing. Sometimes I have a hard time reading it because they're bickering and stuff, but it's more realistic, but it's annoying. Like, who wants to read about kids bickering all the time? That is Silverchair, but yeah. Narnia, my favorite. If you guys are interested, we can do a read-along over on Patreon. The first couple ones can be free, but basically what we could do, like this has been in my head for a while, what we could do is I could assign like 1 or 2 chapters, or however many we're going to do, and each week I'll post something like a video or just a regular post, and we can talk about what we read, and I can tell some lore that I found, because there's a couple different YouTubers I follow who really dive deep into Narnian lore. There's one in particular. There's Into the Wardrobe. You should check him out. He has so much good information on Narnia, and I've learned so much from him. And so, if you're interested, comment, and I'll see if I can get that going. Hopefully, it'll be more successful than my book launch. Okay, Narnia Spider's Web. So I found this at Goodwill, actually. This is an Agatha Christie play. Books fell. It's a play that was written by Agatha Christie, but this is the novel form of the play, and it's a complex murder mystery, which I feel like, since it's a novel converted play, it didn't do as well conveying the different evidence that they used. Like, I wasn't presented with any of the evidence that they ended up using to put it together. It was still interesting. I just think if it was originally in novel form, it would have been better, because this book was not originally Agatha Christie. Her prose, at least. The story and all the characters and dialogue and stuff were, but... Alright. Let's see. Waves of Mercy. So, this is a new read for me. It is, it has 2 protagonists. One of them is this girl who grew up in a rich household, that she finds out that she's an orphan, and she's always had nightmares about being on a ship and the ship going down. And then the other protagonist is a Dutch lady who came over to the New World with a bunch of other Dutch reformers, not reformers, Puritans or something, separatists, that's what it was. And I won't give it away, but I feel like this book could have been better. I liked the idea for the book, and I liked the different aspects of it. And it's set in the 1890s, which is one of my favorite historical dress time periods. But I feel like the author didn't study the history very well. Historical facts, yes, but the clothing and the hair, like, there was so much talked about it. Like, she talked about corsets wrong, like not being able to breathe in them. You can breathe in corsets. And she talked about, like, the hair being down. No lady in her right mind would have her hair down in public, but that's what the protagonist did. So, I don't really like that, but I really liked the main story idea. Alright, now for some of my favorite books of all time. I don't like this version that I have, just like how it's set up and everything, the text. But it is Rose and Bloom. No. 8 Cousins is the first one. 8 Cousins and Rose and Bloom. Like, this is from the Regency time period. But the story is actually set in the 1870s. And it is about Rose, who is recently orphaned, and her guardian, her uncle, comes back and he does all these fun little experiments, which he calls, which is what he calls different things that he does to get her healthy and lively little girl that she should be, instead of this lonely, unhealthy, pale, listless little girl. And then the sequel, Rose and Bloom, is about her when she grows up and her friendship and romantic relationships with her cousins and other people. And so I love these books to death. I just got paperback versions, I believe, of these 2 books, separate ones, so that they're not together. And they have the original cover art, and they're so beautiful, but they did not come in time for me to do this. So I'll have to show you some other time. Alright, Shane. This is the second or third time, I can't remember, that I read this book, and oh my word, it is so deep. Like, most of the story is subtext, if you can believe it. There's plenty of things going on, like, in the story itself, like, in the pages, for you to be interested, but because it's told from, I think, a 12-year-old, let me see, 13, 12-ish. It's told from the standpoint of a 12-year-old, so you don't really understand. Like, he doesn't explain anything. There's a ton of subtext, a ton of backstory, and the theme, too, is all subtext and backstory. And when I read it, I just get this huge sense of wonder of what kind of brain would this guy, Jack Schaefer? What kind of brain did he have in order to write a book like this? Like, I don't know. Read this book, come back and comment, and tell me what you thought about it. It is amazing. It's basically about this guy named Shane who comes to the narrator's farm. Let me see, it says I'll just read the back to you. The Starrett family's life changes forever when a man named Shane rides out of the great glowing west and up to their farm in 1889. Young Bob Starrett is entranced by this stoic stranger who brings a new energy to his family. Shane stays on as a farmhand, but his past remains a mystery. Many folks in their small town Wyoming valley are suspicious of Shane, and make it known that he is not welcome. But dangerous as Shane may seem, he is a staunch friend to the Starretts, and when a powerful neighboring rancher tries to drive them out of their homestead, Shane becomes entangled in a deadly feud. This classic Western is a profoundly moving story of the influence of a single character on one boy's life. Amen to the last one. Last but not least, Candle in the Darkness. Same author as the other book, Waves of Mercy, and it is about this girl who lives in the South during the Civil War, and she believes that slavery is wrong, so she's on the North side for that, but she doesn't want to betray her countrymen as a Southerner. I feel like this story did a much better job with the historical aspects, including clothing and hair, and I absolutely loved it. Hey guys, it's been a couple weeks since I last recorded that, and so I finished 2 more books that I would like to share. The first one is Coral Island by R.M. Valentine, I believe. That's him. And it's about these 3 sailor boys who get shipwrecked on a coral island in the Pacific. And it's an old book published in like 1870s, I believe. And they have adventures in the coral islands. They explore the island. They meet some natives. They go on adventures. It's a really fun book, and I'm sure you guys would like it. The sequel is called Gorilla Hunters. When they're grown up, they go to Africa to hunt gorillas. I read part of it, and it's hilarious. But I didn't read it this year, so it's not part of my reading list, but I thought I would still include it. And then the last book from this year is probably my ultimate favorite from this year. It is Dreamlander by Cam Weiland. And I don't think my screen is mirrored, because it is flipped backwards. But you can still see it. And it is such a beautiful color, even though the title is flipped backwards, you can still see how beautiful of a cover it is. And it is, whoop, my bookmark came out. I actually found these beautiful bookmarks at Walmart, and they're metal, and you get 3 of them in one package, and that's what fell out. But this book is about a guy named Chris who's had these really strange dreams, and it turns out he's one of the gifted who's able to go from this world into the dream world and keep your memories from both worlds. Like everyone, basically the premise of this book is that everyone leads 2 lives. The one here in this world that we know, and then the one in the dream world where we only catch very fuzzy, faint parts of the other life. But then our counterpart in the other world dreams very fuzzy, like has very fuzzy, just like us, dreaming about them, our life in the dream world, they do the same over here. And I thought that was a really interesting premise. Like, I had never thought about that before, but it made for a very interesting book. And there's 3 different POVs. As a gifted, Chris has to accomplish his mission of bringing peace and prosperity to, I think it's Lael, Lael. I'm not sure how that's supposed to be pronounced, but I like Lael. It looks pretty in print. But I just loved this book. And to be honest, this year, trying to read, recently I've not been able to get into the books that I'm reading. I felt like I had just lost interest in reading and that no book can like suck me in anymore. Because I remember very distinctly, like, certain books would just take me into that other world, and I'd be completely lost in the world with the characters and feel like I'm all a part of the world. This year, most of the books I read did not do that for me. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was the books or if it was me. I think it was me because those books in the past have done that for me. Brought me into their world. And I was kind of depressed about that, As a writer, I'm like, what is going on? Like, the only way I can have that wonder of reading is by writing, which is kind of ironic if you ask me. And so, it was very special because this book brought me out of that, and it completely took me into a different world, literally. And I was lost in it. I could not put it down. I finished it in a week. which for me, that's pretty good. Like the size, that's how big it is. It's about an inch thick. That's actually a pretty good speed for me. It's 532 pages long. And I believe that would be around 120 to 150,000 words. I'm not sure, but go check that out. So all these books will be listed in the description with their title and the author name. And I will try to put links to all of them. I may not be able to put links on all of them. I'm not sure. I'll do my best so you can go check them out. And if that doesn't give you enough stuff to read, my Viking book Out of the Dark has finally come out. Yay! It is available on Ingram Spark. I have some links on my website to the paperback and hardcover. I will let you guys know when it's available on Amazon. So the publishing team at Amazon had barely uploaded the book to Ingram Spark before the holidays began. So stay tuned because I will announce when the book is uploaded to Amazon. So if you haven't already, please subscribe and it will keep you. I'm gonna try that again. I'm tired. It will keep you updated on all the ongoings on here at this channel and with my writing and all the videos and stuff. So I hope you have a good day and a good new year, and I'll see you guys next time.